We are Go, Asia Tech Podcast. Graham Brown with Victor Zhang. Victor Zhang, co-founder and CEO of AlphaWallet.
Yes.
Victor, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Nice to meet you, Graham.
It's nice to meet you too. Where are you from originally?
I born in China, but spent the past around 13 years in Australia, Sydney.
Right.
And then we decided to do this startup. We moved the whole team from Sydney to Singapore last year.
Good. So you're multinational.
No, I'm still holding Chinese passport.
Okay. But I mean, you've lived all over. You went to college in Australia, right?
Yes.
So, okay.
I did my Master of IT degree.
Yeah. Where are you from in China?
Northeast part. It's the place called Harbin.
Yeah, I know Harbin.
Yeah, which is close, very close to Russia.
Yeah. There's a bit of a startup scene there, isn't there, now in Harbin? No, I think they sort of explain that they're building that big mega city around Beijing and Harbin, right? So
No. Harbin is quite far from Beijing. It's the northeast part, almost at the very edge of the China.
Yeah. What age did you move to Australia?
After my bachelor. Which is I think around 20 something. Yeah.
Good. So today we're going to talk about AlphaWallet.
Yep.
We're going to talk about your journey as an entrepreneur as well. And you're the kind of entrepreneur that I like on this show, Victor, because you're a hustler. You know, you're a man who grew up selling, right? You've got a long career in sales. I was a sales guy as well. Actually, interestingly, Marcus Evans, I know very well. I've worked with Marcus Evans many years ago in telecoms, right? So for those people that don't know, Marcus Evans is an events company, right?
Yes.
So one of the, they grew very, very fast, and they had a very, very, not aggressive, but very successful sales.
You can say very aggressive.
Sales team. What was the environment like there? Because I'm just looking here, Victor, you were at Marcus Evans for how many years now?
I think a few, 5-6
years. And you say here that you were the top sales guy worldwide?
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, for 2 years.
For 2 years?
Yes.
What was the competition like?
It's around 2,000 salespeople globally.
Yeah. 2,000, you were number one.
Yes.
What did you have to do differently to become the number one sales guy in the world?
I think for sales, sometimes it's more like a number game. Yeah. It all depends on how much effort you put in.
Right.
Yeah. So you can see from my past experience when I first time joined the sales for Marcus Evans Group, as starting with very junior sales position.
Yeah.
And it's quite interesting. For the first 6 months, I don't have any sales at all.
Right.
Yeah, and I received a 3 times written notice.
Warning.
Yeah.
Like, get out.
He asked me to leave. If you don't have anything bring in, then within 2 weeks' time, you should leave.
But you stayed.
Yeah, I received 3 times.
Right.
But the reason of they didn't kick me off, and also I didn't resign, because they didn't kick me out because I'm working very hard. Yeah. If normal people, they contact, because I begin is cold call. They make 100 cold call a day, then I make 200.
Yeah. So that was your strategy. If the guy on the desk sitting next to you was making 100, you were making 200.
Yes, that is
you did 200 cold calls a day.
Yes, that is the beginning.
Actual calls or actual conversations?
Actual calls. The conversation around they have a KPI. Normally it's 20 conversations need to make at least. But I always have to try to double it.
200 a day. Yeah. How was that as an environment?
It's tough. It's a very tough sales role.
Yeah.
But I have a principle. That is, since I'm very young, I never fail on anything.
Yeah.
So I cannot afford this kind of failure.
Yeah.
So I have to keep it going. So that is why after 6 months, I bring in a record deal for the whole Marcus Evans Sydney office.
Mm-hmm.
And starting from that point, it seems like I found the right way to do this kind of job. Yeah. And then it's just all the way good.
The rest is history, right? So I want to talk about that, and that in the context of your entrepreneurial career, the fact that you were born in sales, if you like. Yes. You learnt your career in sales. Yes. I did as well. And there's a lot of startups today who can't sell, and there's sort of experience and advice that you can sort of download to them as well. And we'll talk about AlphaWallet as well and what you're doing there. My background was in financial services. So back in the 90s, I was doing cold calling for life assurance and pensions.
Yeah,
and again, it was 120 cold calls a day. You'd go through the phone book.
Yes.
And you would start at A, And, maybe by next month you got to B, and you would phone all the people in the phone, but you phone them up, and people they obviously were quite rude to you, and it was hard. Some people were interested back then.
The lucky part for us is I'm working in a special business unit for Mark 7. It's called the THG Sports.
Right.
For that unit, we're selling really expensive product to C-level executives.
Right.
So for those people, normally they're not rude. Yeah, but they're very busy.
Very difficult to get hold of. So when you're phoning C-level executives, that's a strategy in itself. You've got the gatekeeper, often the assistant.
All those things. Yes.
Right. And sometimes I used to do that as well. When I used to phone people who were directors of companies, I'd phone them at 7 a.m. because that was the only time I could get hold of them.
Yes.
Or you would have a special strategy to deal with their assistant.
I did something quite different. I go through a tough way. Because normally there's many suggestions or experience telling you to give some stories or give some things, try to kind of cheat the gatekeepers. But I just don't like it. So I always go through the more difficult part. So it's either I tell them exactly the truth, or I will try to make the gatekeeper from the very beginning already feel, although I don't tell any stories, but they already feel I'm also another a very important person from a very important company. So when they heard my voice, they just put me through directly. So that is the way how I did it. And also because I have the more technology background when I started, so I always try to use different of tools, like all the internet tools, do research and do some check some. There's many interesting things, like when those people attending many of the events, and those event companies actually not really keep those information as a sensitive information, so they just leave it in their database somewhere. And it's not like a real hack, but it's just very easy to use Google with some command, and then you can easily pull out those informations. Then you get directly mobile number for those people.
Interesting. So you were ahead of your time.
Yeah, you can say that.
Maybe they closed those loopholes now, but
still, there's many those people don't really care about the.
But okay. How do those lessons apply now? Now you're in AlphaWallet. We'll talk about AlphaWallet in a minute, but you're in a business which is very technologically focused. Where does a salesperson come into that? How do you apply the lessons that you picked up from being the best salesperson in the world in your business for 2 years?
It's quite, it's very different style of business, the first thing. And the thing I can bring to AlphaWallet is, of course, my existing network. With all those C-level peoples around the Asia-Pacific region. That is one of the key things. And the second thing is, of course, the BD capabilities to bring in more partners to support our growth. And then the next thing is, because if you see my past experience, so after the sales, BD, and then convert more to the management part. So I know how to manage a team. And especially my previous company is also a startup from Spanish. It's quite successful. So I learned from the how to build up the team from zero in the country, how to set up an office, all those things. So these are all the valuable experience and skill I can contribute to AlphaWallet.
Do you feel like you're still selling now?
Yeah, still.
How do you sell now? But I imagine you're not doing 200 calls a day, are you?
No, not in that way. It's more on the marketing and PR side. So it's more like a selling to mass of people, not really selling to one people or one company. But although still we need to do some BD with partnerships.
Good. Excellent. Let's talk about AlphaWallet. Let's have a look at the pitch deck. So you kindly shared your pitch deck with us. So if we can have a look at that. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to click through some of these slides.
Is this one going to be live as well?
This one's going. This is recorded. Is this an older version of your?
No, but it's ugly. It's not really a pitch deck because we didn't pitch to any public or investors or something.
Well, we'll just pick out the key points. All right. So we're not going to flick through the whole thing. I think this bit's not ugly. We've got some good-looking folk here. So
thank you.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about the team first. These are the 4 co-founders of AlphaWallet. Tell me a little bit about how you guys met? I noticed you have the same name as your co-founder. Is that a coincidence, or are you related?
It's a coincidence.
Right, okay.
And we also have the same age.
There you go.
Yeah.
What's the genesis of that? Where did you folks meet?
Sorry?
Where did you meet?
No, it's a very interesting story, and many people don't even believe, because for me, I'm in the ticketing industry before, and when I'm doing those part of job, I also start many technology startups just for fun. So I always watching all those technology things. And 2 years ago, I start looking at the Bitcoin and all those blockchain technologies. And since then, I realized these things can really transform the whole ticketing market, the ticketing industry. So I've been trying to form a team just to help me to solve the problem for ticketing. That is from my side.
Well, what is the problem with ticketing?
Ticketing is they got huge problem. For example, they have the ticket fraud, like duplicate tickets, fake tickets, those things. And also they have for popular events, they have a huge secondary market. If the primary market is you say like 1, and then the secondary market sometimes can be 100. Use like a FIFA or Olympic Games as example.
Resellers, effectively, like touts and scalpers, as they're called.
But you can call it a problem. But on the other hand, it also benefit the event organizer as well, because each person participate in the secondary market. They are actually helping event organizer to promoting their events.
They're market makers, aren't they, in the traditional sense of.
But the problem for event organizer is. First thing, they don't have the exactly number, how many people participate in the secondary market.
Right.
If they don't have this exactly number, they cannot sell it to sponsors. They cannot calculate those numbers. And the second thing is, although the market itself is huge, but the event organizer cannot get a cut from the secondary market. They don't have the tools. And they don't have the tools to really regulate the secondary market. They are not following their rules. Although they can write some words on the ticket saying, okay, this ticket you cannot resell. If you resell, you cannot put on margin, but no one will follow it.
You can't enforce it, can you? The guy, even in the parking lot outside, could be selling those tickets. You can't enforce it. All right, well, we'll dive into that in a minute. The team itself, where did they come from? So yourself
it's very interesting. So I've been looking for people doing blockchain, and my co-founder, Zhang, who is the CTO, and he used to work for the Commonwealth Bank, which is the largest finance institute. He worked there as the blockchain architect for the past 2 years before he joined before we formed the AlphaWallet. And he's also expert in cryptography and one of the global architect for R3 Coda, which is the largest blockchain alliance for all the banks. So you have a strong technical background. And for the other co-founder, James Brown, he's used to be the chief engineer for blockchain team in CBA as well. The other 3 co-founders, they are all from CBA. And James Brown is a very experienced developer. He has been doing development for the past over 20 years. And one of the things is interesting is he used to write the compiler for PS3. And that compiler actually over 60% of PS3's game is running through his compiler.
Really?
Very, very, very technical person. And another guy is an interesting guy. Is the youngest guy in our team. Born in 1993, James Sangali. And he's holding three countries' passport. Switzerland, Netherlands, and New Zealand. And he got the... he can go to the college. The college accept him, but he used all the education fund he's got from his family to buy Bitcoin.
Right.
And after that, he had been traveling around the world, around 20 countries, just to promoting Bitcoin. He's a kind of a crazy believer at that time.
Well, you need that, right? You need those people who are passionate about it, right? They believe it because they have to go and sell that to the wider public, don't they? Okay.
And after that, he go to Australia, and Zhang recruit him into CBA. That is a very special.
CBA will be in the Commonwealth Bank of Australia.
Commonwealth Bank of Australia. It's
the biggest bank.
It's a very special recruitment because he don't have a college degree. And recruit into CBA, join the blockchain team. Starting package is 200,000. So it's kind of amazing life he have.
But you have, I guess that's the point about blockchain is that the rules have changed, right? And you've got to apply that to recruitment as well. You can't necessarily have somebody who's got a PhD in cryptocurrency or blockchain, because we're not even there yet. It doesn't exist. So you've got to have those people who are the crazy believers, as you say.
And also the crazy believer is one part. And also Wei Wu said when he interviewed around 20 people, although other people from very strong technical background, they understand the technologies, but none of them really read through the white paper from Satoshi, the Bitcoin white paper. And this young man, although he's not have a very strong technical background, but he's spending a lot of time and he really reads through the paper. And he get the point, he understand, he learned it by himself. So that is the very impressive part why we would decide to recruit him. So after he joined the CBA, then he become like a student under Wei Wu and James Brown. He learned all the things from these two guys and then start working together. And now actually our first protocol, which is published in March this year, and the document is written by James Zangali. He's already already one of the best people in writing smart contracts as well.
And the one who didn't go to college for that. So there you go. There's a lesson in that, maybe.
So that is the background for the people.
Okay, good.
How we met is I sent the first message to Wei Wu Zhang, which is last November, and that is on Wednesday. And after, and then Wei Wu asked me, what kind of blockchain project are you looking for?
This is when he was at CBA?
Yeah, he's still with CBA during that time. So I asked him when, I told him I want to use it on ticketing, and that is on Wednesday. And on Saturday, he fly to Singapore to meet me. During that time, I'm in Singapore. He fly to Singapore to meet me, and then we spent 2 days, the weekend, at a hotel just to chat with each other. My wife even warned me, you only know this guy 3 days, less than 10 conversations, and you are going to meet him. And he said he fly from Australia to meet you. It's kind of crazy. You need to be careful.
Did you think it was crazy?
I think it's crazy.
But did it feel right or wrong?
But I didn't feel right or wrong. But I see it as an opportunity. If you don't catch it, then it will lose. So it's no matter what kind of things I need to, what kind of risk I'm going to take, I want to take the opportunity.
Okay. Good. Well, that's a very interesting background. I want to fast forward, if we may, Victor, to your case study, because this will help people understand what it is that you do. Can we talk a little bit about your case study here?
That is the you can say it's AlphaWallet's case study, but on the other hand, is actually developed by this company called Shanghai Sports. So they use a ERC-875 protocol and also use AlphaWallet platform to develop their own use case. So that is talking about ownership is actually belongs to them. It's their own their use case, but they are using our technologies.
Okay. So who are Shanghai? What do they do?
Shanghai Sports is the exclusive agent for FIFA in Great China region, looking after mainland China, Hong Kong, Macau, and Taiwan. And besides the partnership with FIFA, they are also the exclusive agent for UEFA. And they are bidding for the rights for IOCs as well, and along with other small events. Like
so that they resell the tickets for FIFA into China. And here we've just obviously seen the World Cup this year, and obviously Russia 2018. We'll talk about this case study in a bit. I saw very interestingly the headline data on the number of Chinese tourists attending the Russia World Cup, and there were. Bear in mind, there was no China team in the World Cup. England, who are obviously a traditional footballing nation, had 31,000 tickets sold to English fans, and they were in the World Cup. There were 37,000 tickets sold to Chinese tourists, which is interesting because there was no China team. What would happen if there was a China team in the World Cup in terms of ticket sales? It would be just phenomenal. There'd be 10 times, maybe 100 times. And it's a lot of money as well to go from China to Russia. I know physically they're next to each other, but to travel across the countries, it's several thousand kilometers. Plus you've got to find a hotel. Plus you've got to buy the tickets. It's thousands of dollars, right? So there's a big demand in China. It's just amazing how many tickets they were buying. So tell us a little bit about actually this case study. What happened? How did it work? And what was the problem that you were solving?
Yeah, the problem we have we talk a little bit about the problem already, like the ticket fraud and secondary market, all those things. But for in this experiment, I want to call it as an experiment. It's not like a real largely applied on business already. It's more like an experiment. So what they do is I just explain what they did. So the first thing is in June, Shanghai Sports they spend around 2 weeks time based on our technologies to develop. The first thing is they deployed one smart contract under the ERC A75 standard, put it on Ethereum network, and with that smart contract they issued 200 non-fungible tokens. And each of the tokens are representing one unique seat for one match, for one FIFA match. That is one thing. And on the other hand, they develop a small ticketing application inside AlphaWallet platform. And that ticketing application can transform the token to display it as tickets. And it can be transformed into a dynamic QR code, changing every 13 seconds, working offline as evidence to check at the gate, and they can go in. So this is the things from the technical side, what they did. And after that, on their website, they publish an announcement telling all their customers they are going to do an experiment to test the blockchain solution for ticketing to see whether they will face any problem and how it goes.
Right.
And in terms of the operation, what they do is they randomly select 50 users because they have a website to sell tickets. They just randomly pick up 50 users from the 50 consumers, real consumers, no idea about blockchain, no idea about technology, just want to go for the game. Randomly pick up 50 people. So those 50 people, instead of receiving traditional paper tickets, they give them a choice to choose whether you want to go through the traditional way or you want to experience a digital ticket solution.
Right.
They didn't mention about blockchain, just ticketing.
Yeah. Okay. So what would that be? In what format would that digital ticket look?
In the email, it's a link.
Yeah.
We called it a magic link. So if the user, actually there's only 28 people choose to use the digital solution. Yeah. So those 28 real people are actually using the blockchain tickets, watch the game. So in the email, it's a link. We call it a magic link. That is developed based on the technology ERC A75. Yeah. And when people click that link, they open up a landing page. That page tell them what is inside the tickets. And also the second step is if you want to import the tickets, you need to download one application. That application is called the AlphaWallet. And after you download it, then you just copy the link again. You open the wallet. The wallet will speak to the smart contract and import the tickets. Right. And once it's inside your wallet, do you want to have a look?
Yeah, let's see it. Let's see it.
Have this one.
Okay, maybe if you can hold it up to the camera, maybe we can see if that will work.
Very quick.
Yeah, let's have a look at an example.
Yeah. So once it
let's bring it a bit closer. That's it.
Inside your wallet, it looks like this. Now you have 2 non-fungible token FIFA World Cup tickets from Shanghai, and if you open it, you select one of the tickets. If you select redeem, I want to redeem this one. You can see this is the real tickets. Although it's expired already, the category is the match club category, and I think it's the first match. It's the match 63. That is the almost close to the final match, and that is the lose. This is the third place match. That is the loser from group game 61 and against the loser from.
So that'd be England, Belgium.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and the event date is on 14th of June 2018. Right. And if you click redeem, what happens is transformed to a dynamic QR code.
QR code. All right. Would that be the same QR code if they weren't to use this solution? The reader on the other side at the stadium, they would have to have a reader of the QR code, right?
Yes.
So that would just be the same system you're plugging into there, right?
Yes, but the thing they do is Shanghai have a special people at there. They read the gate and then they still use then they give them the physical ticket. They still use the physical tickets to go in because we cannot convince FIFA to change the facility at the venue.
Right. So it's just FIFA doesn't have electronic readers of tickets at the venue.
No, but but they are reading different format, not reading this format.
Yeah.
They won't do integration with us because it's like an experiment. They cannot afford any problem.
Right. So what did you learn from that experiment? Because it was a very real world experiment, wasn't it? You weren't just kind of testing like 10 blockchain enthusiasts. You were testing it very much in the wild, real people in a very dynamic situation with, crowds, a lot of tension, stress as well. What did you learn?
The first thing we learned is the conversion rates is okay. Because in our imagination, we send out 50 those invitations, probably only 5 or only even less than 5 people were really using this this digital solution. But actually there's 28, which is quite good. So that means the people are okay to download an extra app to experience something more advanced, to experience something new. This is the very positive part. Yeah. And on the other side is we found some of on the technical side, there are still many things need to improve before this solution can be largely used by real big business. For example, if they want to use a 60,000 seats venue for one event, all blockchain tickets, then there probably will have some problem. So for example, now if you receive the link, you click import, it's not instantly displayed because it need to be confirmed by the block. So it normally, as this one is developed on Ethereum blockchain, normally it will take around like 7 seconds to 20 seconds, and then it will display. This experience is very different from the traditional internet services. On internet service, when you click, you want to see it immediately. If it asks you to wait 7 seconds, I will delete it. I won't use it. So for example, these kind of things still need to be improved.
Right. But it's interesting to hear that you understand that and you know that and you're sharing that as well, rather than everything's perfect.
Not perfect.
Exactly.
No.
So I want to ask you, we've identified what the problem, the challenge is with the ticketing world, right? And in that world, you have some very big players like Live Nation or Ticketmaster, for example, and you have individual organizations like FIFA or the Olympic Committee, IOC, for example. Now, if you to add blockchain to that, where is that push going to come from in solving that problem? Is it going to come from these large organizations? Is it going to come from the venue organizers, or is it going to come from a platform who may use your technology? Who's going to really champion this and drive blockchain in the ticketing and event space?
Event organizer.
So who would they be? What sort of big names?
Event organizer like FIFA, IOC, and each like a soccer games team. All those event organizers who really own the events, who organize the events, not those people who, not like those selling platform. For
Live
example,
Nation or Ticketmaster.
Live Nation is a different case because Live Nation themselves, they are event organizers as well. They organize many those musical, culture related events. So they are both event organizer and ticket selling platform. So they own almost the whole ecosystem. But the key benefit is for event organizer and the end consumers, not for the middle part.
Right. And the event organizers as well are very strong brands, consumer brands. So they have the trust of the consumers. For example, if you went to an Arsenal or a Manchester United or a Real Madrid, for example, are those the kind of people that would want to use this technology that you could sell to? There is no middleman in that. You would go and sell your technology directly to them, or how would that work?
Because for just clarify one thing, for the ticketing use case, it's just one experiment we've done with the one external partner. We are not focusing on ticketing as a business. And after we done this experiment, that's all. We just fill in a report to show the to tell the world what we have learned and how you can use this, and then let other people decide whether they want to go deep on this use case or not. Because for us, we only focus on the protocol and the AlphaWallet platform. We focus on these two layers, not on the use case layer.
Right. So that's one scenario, one use case. What are the other use cases that this could apply to, so people understand it, not just in the context of the technology, but where would this touch everyday lives?
There can be many use cases. But before that, I want to answer your previous question. So why the event organizer, they want to use this kind of technology? What is the benefits? The key thing is, as I mentioned, the first thing, all the transactions on blockchain, they can calculate exactly number, how many audience they have covered, and they can convert this number into their revenue. And this is not the most important thing. The second important thing, the most important thing is now they finally got a whole set of tools. They can preset all the rules for every single tickets, how they want these tickets to be transferred, to be traded, to be resold. They can write all those rules inside the smart contract itself. Then later, no matter who want to participate in the market, they have to follow these rules. Give you some sample of the rules. For example, these tickets can be only transferred once, only transfer one time in the rules. Then it have to be transferred in that way.
Right. That would stop resellers, right?
Yes.
Selling it for a real premium on the, like when the supply is short, for example.
The key thing is not to stop the reseller, is to create a market which is every participant, not only reseller, primary sellers, they all following the same rules. No one can overcome the rules. And another rules, for example, when this ticket is selling to another person, the transaction revenue, part of it will automatically go back to the event organizer.
Right.
And they can even make a more complicated rules. For example, if you add $10 on it, then $5 go back. If you add $20, then $10 come back. If you add $100, then $90 go back to the event organizer. If you add $500, okay, the transaction failed. It cannot be processed.
But they can set all these different rules and overrides and so on. They can do all that in the contract.
Yeah, in the smart contract. That is the beautiful part of the smart contract. Of course, someone may argue, what if I just gave my private key to other person? Yes, that can happen, right? Because your private key is linked to all your blockchain assets. If you don't sell the asset itself, you give your key to other person. That can happen. But there's also solutions to solve those problems. For example, the new technology we are working on, which is called the attestation, which can part of the use case is to transform to make your wallet have the identity function. So that means your private key, your wallet, your identity can be linked together. So once you link your identity together, you won't give your identity to other person. And also once you have identity information inside, it will solve another problem of the event organizer to help them to do different level of KYCs. For example, this tickets can only transfer to Chinese people. That tickets can only transfer to Singapore people.
Where would that actually be an issue? Where would somebody actually want to impose that kind of restriction?
Just example. For example, I give you another example. These tickets can only be transferred to a person who can prove he don't have criminal record.
Right. Okay. There you go.
The criminal record free can be an attestation inside your wallet and linked to your private keys.
Yeah. Okay. Got it.
So it's a whole set of tools.
Right. We've talked about ticketing. What else? Usage scenarios.
Yeah. So now, for example, for this particular ERC 875 protocol, what they can do is they can give digital asset ownership. For example, all the game assets.
Yeah.
You if you have a sword in the game, you can transform that digital asset into a non-fungible token on blockchain. And once you've done that things can exist even the game already disappeared. And you can reuse the same asset in different games. There's already many experiments in the market. Many game companies trying to use these kind of ideas to develop like a totally new category of the games.
Yeah.
And that is something can use for the game industry. And on the other hand, you can use it as for example, like a digital identity for physical product. And that is also an interesting experiment.
Like that we're talking about branded goods, for example, like real brand, like for example, counterfeit versus a real Louis Vuitton bag. How do we know?
Yeah, something like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. And even to the extent where you could put those now in vehicles. I know, for example, at the luxury end of cars.
Yeah. And we did another experiment with an advertising company in Sydney. That is, you know, at the subway, they have the big screen to display the advertisement. And what we did is we transformed every 3 hours use. That means, for example, from 8 a.m. to 11 a.m., these 3 hours, we transform the rights to use this screen as one non-fungible token. And every 3 hours, one non-fungible token. So that means that each 3 hours is different. So there's a platform to selling those tokens to all the people who want to use who want to advertise their branding or their things.
Right.
So what happened is when people bought that token, then they can use that token for that 3 hours advertisement. And if they cannot finish it, they can resell it. They can resell it to other person. Other person who have the token is like you can imagine it as a key or as a certificate. Once another person have that certificate, he can instantly change the picture on that screen and make this kind of heavy asset easily to be traded in the market. This is one of the examples as well.
Right. Yeah. Interesting, because a lot of what you're talking about, these markets, they exist, but they're controlled markets. I mean, you talk about, for example, advertising and selling real estate in advertising, right? People are making a lot of money selling that real estate. Yes. You're coming in and making it easier and naturally bypassing the middlemen, right?
Yes. That is the whole thing of blockchain. To make the value easily be transferred.
Yeah. But the counter argument is that the fact that it's not transferable creates value for somebody else, which is, you know, the fact if you're a middleman in a market, for example, a media seller, that you're a media network, you sell that's your job, and then you're coming in and you're saying, okay, actually, maybe we don't need these guys anymore. We can just go direct to the.
We still need those people.
Right.
The thing is for blockchain, it's when the value transferred, we don't need any middleman to guarantee. But as an information, for example, the place, use the previous example, the place to display all those slots, there still need to have a centralized place to display those information to make the buyer and seller know, to make the buyer know there's these things I can buy. But when I buy it, the transfer is just between the buyer and the seller. No middleman in the middle to guarantee the transfer. That is the thing.
So there's no guarantee, but the middleman actually is there to exchange information and create the market of information rather than the guarantee.
Yeah, so the middleman in the whole system, they still create value. They still have their own position. But the thing is that the value they created is not like as big as before. Because before they in the middle to guarantee the transfer. Right. And they can charge.
They were like the escrow of the transfer.
But now it's more like an information platform. Right. They will still exist, but just
in a different format.
Yes.
Right. And they have to evolve, otherwise they're getting in the way.
Yes.
Okay, interesting. Victor, just summing up, the last the last few years in your entrepreneurial journey, you've met some amazing people. You have an amazing team at the moment. We saw the 4 founders there, very sort of technical backgrounds.
Yes.
You are expanding, I guess, as a company. You're looking for new people. You're interested in people who match the mindset of what your AlphaWallet is about. Yeah. So, people watch this video, it connects with them and they want to reach out. So just to kind of help those people understand what you're looking for, less necessarily in the hard skills, but more in the mindset of what you're about. Yeah. How would you sort of prepare those people in terms of, help them get the cultural aspect of what AlphaWallet is? How, what kind of people are you looking for in that sense?
Yeah, we have a vision. That is actually we have been trying to asking ourselves why we want to do this, and go very deep, and finally we come to a conclusion. which is we really want to see open and free competition in every market, not only in currency, in a product, and maybe I don't know whether these things can be discussed on the radio. Like even like a government, they should have competitions, because without competition, then the market won't go to the right direction. So we want to bring competitions into every market. And before, we don't have such tools or such opportunity. Now we see blockchain can help us to achieve this final goal, to bring competition in every market. By doing this, we believe they will transform the world into a better way. So that is the deep belief we have. And that is the core thing we can work together.
Right.
Yeah.
Everybody would probably agree with what you're saying. How do you distinguish between those who simply agree and those who live it? That's the key, isn't it? Because anybody sitting here will say, yeah, I agree with the fact that we have to have more competition, and competition is good up to a point, and we have to have this transparency and so on. But there are a group of people who actually, they wake up in the morning and it's a part of their DNA. So how do you know that's the right person? I'm thinking those people you want to join your team. What are the telltale signs? What are the signs that person really gets it? Like your team, the one who's actually read the white paper end to end and digested it. What kind of things are you looking for?
Normally, it's kind of I don't know. It's kind of in my past experience, I recruit I think over 1,000 people. So when I'm speaking with people, I can easily see whether they have the bling in their eyes.
What is that?
When I explain something.
Right.
For example, when I explain them what is the integration on consumer and how it can bring the competition into different market, then they start feeling very excited.
Right.
And that excitement is the things I want to see. Yeah.
You got to have that excitement, that passion for it.
Yeah, and also there's some small, more detailed skills how to find those people.
Right.
The first thing is we normally will ask them, are you holding any cryptocurrencies, or are you holding any tokens? If you say you are an early adopter or you are innovator, but you yourself don't even have anything, then how you can prove that?
Yeah.
This is a very easy.
Put your money where your mouth is, right?
Yes, this is a very easy way to test.
Yeah.
And also, although we don't force our team members to accept cryptocurrencies, but we always offer. We will ask him, if you really join our team, do you prefer to because you can choose. Do you prefer to receive fiat money, or you prefer to receive Bitcoin or Ethereum?
Yeah.
Then we can tell from the answer.
It's a test, isn't it?
Yes, it's a kind of test.
Yeah. Are they really in this, or
Yes.
are they just kind of in it because it's fashionable and trendy, or do they really believe?
Yes.
Fascinating. Excellent. And you're fundraising at the moment? What's your current situation?
We probably will start a new round later, but not now. Yeah.
Right. So how many people in your team at the moment? Is that 4?
Currently, we have 7 full-time,
Yeah.
including V4, so that means 4 plus 3 full-time.
Yeah.
And we have another 4, which is acting as a part-time.
Yeah. And just out of interest, if somebody wanted to be part of your team, do they have to be technical? Could they be passionate about blockchain and Bitcoin?
No, not have to be technical.
Not understand what the hell is in that Satoshi paper?
Yeah, because we have as a company, it's not like a lab. We have a different part of business unit. Of course, for the developer side and for the technical side, you have to have the certain skills. Otherwise, it's impossible for you to take the task. But on the other hand, for example, we very focused on developer community. So that means we need help. We need people to help us to manage develop and manage the community, and also we need people more people to understand and to know our technology and to know our company, and this related to PR marketing. And on the other hand, we have those technologies we want the normal developer to use, but we also want some business partner to do some experiment to start prepared for the blockchains. So that will require BD. So there's many different parts. Yeah.
Excellent.
But the belief is the number one important thing. And the second thing is, as a very small team, we need to feel comfortable to work with such person. So you have the belief, and you can say you are the same kind of people. Yeah. And then The last part is the skill, whether you have technical skill or you have the PR marketing community BD skill.
Okay. Victor Zhang, everybody, AlphaWallet. Before you go, Victor, I want to ask you a question. The question of the day. Everybody gets this today. So this is your question. What advice would you give to your 18-year-old self? And before you answer that, can I ask you how old you are now? Because I'm 46, so I don't feel ashamed of sharing my age as well.
I born in 1982.
82, so you're 36.
Yeah.
So half your age. What advice would you give to your 18-year-old self, Victor?
Whoa. Play less computer game. learn more. Really, learn some real knowledge.
Right.
Yeah.
But you playing the computer games got you here.
But it's I consider it's too much.
Right.
A bit too much. If I go back to see, I can see I wasting so many opportunities. I wasting a lot of time. Wasting a lot of times. Yeah. So if I can go back again, definitely I will learn some real knowledge. Can be really benefit for what I'm trying to achieve, what I'm trying to do now.
Right. When you were 18, did you know you were going to be an entrepreneur?
No idea. I start with a very traditional Chinese culture.
Yeah.
In that culture, it's like for the age like me, our generation. Even when I'm in college, I still don't know what I want to do. It's like everything is like a study, and then when it's time to go to college, then my parents say that this is good, okay, then go to this. This major is good, then learn this major. I have no idea what I want to do with all those knowledge I learned. No idea. I don't have a clear picture. I start getting that picture at very late stage. Yeah, so that is something.
How old were you? How old were you when you knew you were an entrepreneur or wanted to be an entrepreneur?
I think around 30.
30.
Yeah, around 30. Before I just try to make a lot of money.
Yeah.
Yeah, and after that I will start thinking with all those money what I should do. There should be something more, and also I want to achieve more. I want to really see there's something happened because of my effort, and that thing not only happened in a small group like my family. I improve the living standards. I want to increase it. Yeah, maybe in a large group of people in a country or in the world. That is something I want to achieve.
Is that what motivates you when you get up in the morning?
Yes. Like I mentioned, the open free market will definitely transform the world to a better place. And now since we have these technologies, although it's not ready, it's far more than ready. Many people say blockchain can be used for this, that. No, it's very, very early stage, I can say. Although it's at very, very, very early stage, I want to be involved. Maybe later we failed. We are not the one who really create this effect for the globally. But I want to be part of it. At least I have to catch this opportunity.
Victor Zhang, everybody, AlphaWallet. Victor, it's been a real pleasure and inspiring as well. And I really enjoyed sharing this moment with you and also learning a bit about your background. And I'm sure the viewers and the listeners have enjoyed it as well. If they want to reach out to you, what is the most effective way of getting hold of you?
Yes, you can reach me anyway, email, mobile. Yeah, I can give out mobile, no problem.
Put all the details in the show note?
Yes.
Excellent. Victor, thank you for coming today.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for hosting me.
Excellent. Good.